Imagine being trapped in a cave, around you only emptiness and darkness. You can scream for help, but no one will come. Now imagine that the cave is not from stone, but politics. And you are not alone. You are the people of Myanmar. From the 1960s to the end of the 1980s, Myanmar was locked away from the outside world, sealed inside the cave of General Ne Win's regime. How could a country with such rich cultural roots, like the Pew ancient cities which flourished centuries before, be reduced to silence, oppression, and fear? To answer that, we need to understand the man who built this cave, Ne Win. Ne Win, originally named Shu Maung, was born on May 24, 1911, in a small village near Pongdale, Burma, today's Myanmar. His family was Burman, though there are unconfirmed rumors of some Chinese ancestry. As a young man, Shu Maung dreamed of becoming a doctor. In 1929, he entered Rangoon University to study biology, but his dream was cut short when he failed an exam and was expelled in 1931. That failure steered him into politics. He joined the nationalist group Dobama Asiayone, which pushed for Burman supremacy. When World War II broke out, Shu was chosen among 30 young men to train in military strategy. They became known as the 30 Comrades. With Aung San, he helped form the Burma Independence Army, fighting first alongside the Japanese and later against them. It was during this time he chose a new identity. Shu Maung became Bo Ne Win, a name that means bright sun. By 1949, he had risen to become Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, reshaping the military into a power base. By 1958, he even stepped in as Prime Minister for 2 years before stepping aside. But the ambition to rule never left him. On March 2, 1962, Burma changed forever. Ne Win, backed by the military, staged a coup that toppled the civilian government. Parliament was dissolved, the constitution thrown out, and Ne Win declared that parliamentary democracy was not suitable for Burma. From that day forward, the country was under his control. He established the Union Revolutionary Council as Burma's supreme governing body and declared himself Prime Minister. To the outside world, the takeover seemed calm. Foreign media even called it a bloodless coup. But the truth was far from peaceful. At Rangoon University, troops stormed the campus, opened fire, and demolished the Student Union building, a symbol of resistance. Just months later, in July 1962, Ne Win quietly left the country, traveling to the UK, Austria, and Switzerland. Officially, it was to visit doctors, but many suspected he was also seeking legitimacy on the international stage. When he returned, new policies hit ordinary Burmese families hard. In 1963, Ne Win suddenly declared 50 and 100 kyat notes invalid. Overnight, life savings vanished. Families that had worked for years were left with nothing. Outraged, the Kayan people rose in revolt against his government. That same year, Ne Win introduced the Enterprise Nationalization Law, banning the creation of new industries and seizing existing businesses for the state. Foreign minorities, especially Chinese and Indians, were targeted. Their businesses shut down, their livelihoods erased. Many were forced to leave Burma entirely, taking expertise and wealth with them. By 1964, Ne Win consolidated his power even further by creating the Burma Socialist Program Party, the sole legal party in the country. His new ideology, the so-called Burmese Way to Socialism, was a strange blend of Marxism, Buddhism, and militant nationalism. On paper, there were some benefits. Free government hospitals were built, illiteracy campaigns launched, and land reforms reduced rents for farmers. But beneath the surface, the cost was enormous. International trade was cut off, isolating Burma's economy. Smuggling exploded, prices skyrocketed, and the government's finances collapsed. Ordinary citizens bore the brunt of the suffering. Ne Win's policies also deepened ethnic divisions. Despite whispers of his own Chinese ancestry, he cracked down harshly on Burma's Chinese community. By 1967, tensions boiled over. Chinese schools were attacked and burned, students targeted, shops looted, and violent riots erupted in Rangoon. For many, life under Ne Win had become intolerable. The promise of the Burmese Way to Socialism was supposed to lead to equality and prosperity. Instead, it led to fear, poverty, and the slow suffocation of a nation. On March 2, 1974, 12 years after his coup, Ne Win proclaimed Burma a socialist republic. He appointed himself president and placed loyal generals around him. But unrest simmered. That same year, workers and students protested at Rangoon's Thaming textile factory and Sinmalek dockyard. Troops opened fire, killing demonstrators, even as Ne Win was abroad in Australia. His absence didn't weaken the regime's iron grip. The system of fear held firm. In 1981, Ne Win stepped down as president, handing the role to General San Yu. But the move was a disguise. Ne Win remained chairman of the ruling party, and true power still rested with him. In 1982, he passed the citizenship law stripping Burmese, Chinese, and other minorities of full citizenship. Many were barred from prestigious professions like medicine and engineering, their futures stolen by law. Then came a bizarre decision in 1987. Following advice from an astrologer, Ne Win issued new banknotes in denominations of 45 and 90, multiples of his lucky number, 9. Once again, old notes were demonetized and ordinary citizens lost their savings. This was the breaking point. Anger boiled over, especially among students. On August 8, 1988, they took to the streets in what became the 8888 Uprising. For weeks, hundreds of thousands, monks, teachers, children, housewives, doctors, joined nationwide protests. It was the largest movement Burma had ever seen, a cry for democracy and freedom. But on September 18th, the military responded with brute force. Soldiers opened fire on unarmed crowds. Thousands were killed, though the government admitted to only about 350 deaths. Ne Win, officially retired, was still believed to be pulling the strings. He had once said, after the bloodshed, a new junta took power under the name SLORC, the State Law and Order Restoration Council. Ne Win faded from public view, but for nearly a decade, he remained a shadowy influence behind the generals. By the late 1990s, his hold had slipped. Confined under house arrest, he lived quietly until his death on December 5, 2002, at his lakeside home in Yangon. The regime kept his death almost secret. No state funeral, no national mourning, only a brief obituary notice in government newspapers, and a small, tightly controlled burial with around 30 mourners. The story of Ne Win shows how one man's grip can plunge an entire nation into darkness. But history reminds us that even in the darkest caves, people still search for light. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay tuned to era shapers